Hey y'all, it's been a while. Sorry about that. Okay, so I want to mention right away that this may not be a video for everyone, because I did include a ton of like real-time footage, and I did speed some stuff up, but it still might be too slow for some, and especially knowing how everyone likes shorts nowadays. Yeah, so in case you do feel like clicking out the video wherever in the middle or wherever, then please at least skip to the end because I want to mention some channel updates and some other information there. I have one last thing to say before I get to the main part of this video, and that is that the cavity filter that I'm building is not my own design, it's this guy's design. And so, I just want to get that out of the way, that way nobody complains that I stole the idea or whatever. That's why mainly what I want this video to be is just how I built it type of video, not necessarily a completely tutorial type of step-by-step what you should be doing, because there's actually many ways that you could be doing it, and I'm just doing it with the tools I have, so Okay, so if you're wondering what Timbered Plus is, well, that name was suggested by the... Anyways, this name isn't like completely random. It's supposed to be similar to a Sawbird Plus, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically an LNA and SAW filter like in one package. LNA being a low noise amplifier and a SAW filter being just another kind of filter that's also kind of expensive. Now also, what you've seen and what you're going to see is a lot of like sped up footage mixed with a lot of real-time footage, and at first I was thinking of making this video mostly like real-time footage because I wanted to show like all the little details and every little thing I did. I kind of thought that would be interesting, but that would also result in like a whole hour-long video probably. And by the way, all the video I recorded was about 7 hours in total, so while editing I was also trying to keep a lot of that detail even in the sped up parts, but then I realized that kind of just made it look more messy, so, I just ended up cutting out a lot of those too. So, the end video ended up as it is right now, which might not be perfect. So let me know in the comments if I should have made some parts longer, or if I should have shortened it even further. Though I'm not going to make shorts. I want to mention here that the screws I bought were a tiny bit too long, so I had to cut them. Now, I didn't include it here, but I used a die to then fix up the threads later. And also, before anybody complains, holding the screw like that in the vise is not recommended. And now the second most time-consuming part, I think, which I didn't have a tool, so, when one doesn't have a tool, they can just build a tool. It's not really that powerful, but it worked good enough, and really all I needed was just to make some flat sides on the elements I just cut for the filter. But as you can also see, I'm doing this outside because this thing still shoots a ton of metal particles everywhere, and you definitely don't want that stuff going in your eyes, so that's why I was wearing some safety glasses, and you should definitely do that too. I'm sorry, you better do it because oh boy, I don't know what the pain is, but I heard it's pretty bad. The result wasn't perfect, but it was just good enough. And at this point, it was almost assembly time. There were still a couple things left to do, and one of those things were to drill holes in the elements and in the actual aluminum profile, and also add an extra element to the SMA connectors. And also after drilling holes in the elements and the aluminum profile, those holes had to be tapped too later. And again, I didn't have a tool for exactly getting the center of those aluminum rods, so I made something that worked just good enough. Like, I don't think it has to be really perfect, but I still try to get it as perfect as I could. Now, by showing you how I actually made it, and with the accuracy that I used, I hope that shows you that you don't have to get every single piece like perfect. Because anyways, at the end, you end up tuning the filter, which compensates for all your tiny mess ups, I guess. And the first time when I built this filter, I thought I had to get it all like super perfect for it to work. Especially at these frequencies that this filter is going to be operating at. When I built a filter like with discrete components, it worked pretty bad. And like any little change just changed a ton. And so, like when I built the first Tinbird Plus, I messed up a lot. Especially because I was actually learning how to use some tools. Like for the first time I used taps and dies. And I ended up having the holes kind of too big. And so after tapping, the screws went in there very loose. And also then I didn't have screw mount SMA connectors. So I kind of made my own using like some PCB mount ones. And I thought that was going to work pretty bad. But it actually ended up working pretty good actually. Okay, and finally, the most time-consuming part of this whole entire build, which was just tapping everything that needed to be tapped. And that's because you can't really go really fast here. Because while tapping, once you screw into the piece that you're tapping enough, metal pieces clog it up slowly, and once the bit gets stuck, you risk breaking it then if you keep on pushing. So like once I feel that it's already not moving that much, then you have to go back a little bit and then, just work your way slowly through tapping the whole entire thing. Also, another thing I didn't have were screw mount SMAs, but with like 3mm holes. These were made for M2.5, if I remember correctly, and the smallest tap I had then was for an M3. And so I had to widen the holes a little bit, which luckily turned out to be pretty okay on a test piece, so then I did it to the actual pieces I was going to use. And I'm farting. finally I got to adding the actual radiating elements to the SMA connectors. And for those, I just used some capillary tube from some refrigerator. All I had to do was just widen the inside of it a little bit for it to fit. These pieces, of course, would be cut later to tune it better. Okay, and finally the funnest part of this whole entire build, which was assembling the whole entire thing finally, with all the final parts. No more extra drilling or anything. The only thing that would be left to do would be tuning, which you'll see later. And really, I probably could have cut this part out of the video too if I wanted to make it shorter, since it's definitely much funner to do it actually in real life than to actually just watch it. But I included it anyways, because why not?
Nope.
Also later I added sides to the filter, which protects it from dust and other things, I guess, as well as probably some RF leaking into it or out of it. And those I just made with some random PC case metal sheet, I guess, which I think is steel, so it wasn't really that easy to drill through and tap, but I managed. Okay, and now that assembly's done, here are some higher resolution images, how it looks inside. And finally, it's time to actually tune it. And for that, I'm using a Light VNA, which is a portable vector network analyzer. And what it allows me to do is see how the filter frequency response looks like. Now, I don't want to show the whole entire, probably good 30 minutes of me trying to tune this thing, but I do want to show a little bit of it just to give you an idea of how tuning looks for those, I guess, interested. Now, for the first attempt tuning this filter, I kind of failed because the tuning screws I used were a little bit too short, so I ended up having to get longer ones. But even then, not only were the screws too short at first, but also the actual elements that were connecting to the SMA connectors directly, those were a little bit too long, so I ended up having to cut those.
Nope.
After trimming the elements that were attached to those SMA connectors, I finally got it to be tunable, I guess. Now for the video, I stopped about right here for tuning it, and I mean, while it is pretty good, it wasn't good enough. So later, off camera, I tuned it even better, and you can see above. Mainly focus on the blue trace because that's the frequency response, and what you want is a nice flat line in the passband, and there is still a little bit of ripple, but it's not too bad. Not as bad as the one that I had while recording the video. Now, what kind of video would this be if I didn't actually show the filter working? So what I have here is a setup for receiving weather satellites. The antenna is a cigar antenna that I built. Maybe I'll make a video on that. And I'm using an RSP Duo as the SDR to receive everything, as well as an LNA on the back of the antenna. And I'm using the 3M9008 specifically, if anyone was curious. And so you can see right now I have the filter disconnected. It's just laying there on the grass, and you can see in the center of the baseband there's a little spike, and that's a DC spike. Now I noticed that when the SDR gets overloaded, that spike kind of jumps up higher and stuff, and really it's not even supposed to be there. And yeah, so as you can tell, it's overloading. However, when I put the filter on there, you can see that DC spike is a whole lot less in strength. And now the very final part of this video, which just showing how I'm receiving a satellite. This is Meteor M2 number 3 weather satellite, a Russian weather satellite specifically. Okay, so all you have to know here really is that the signal is a BPSK signal, which stands for binary phase shift keying. And what this means is that the signal shifts by 180 degrees in phase, and on the phase plot you end up getting these two balls. And so the further they're separated, the better the signal strength, basically. But then you also got the SNR signal noise ratio indicator right there. And that would be everything really. So now I just got a few more things I want to say, and that'll be it for this video. So at the time of making this video, the whole entire build process happened like a whole year ago. Now receiving the satellite, like you see in the background, that was a couple days ago. And the reason for taking such a long time is mainly because I was putting it off all the time. And if I said school was the reason I was putting it off, I'd be lying. Since I got a lot of time actually, and I just end up doing other things instead of finishing this video that I started. And now I've told other people that I would make it, specifically this video, 1 year ago. And this isn't really the first time that I put something off like this long. And I just gotta say, I noticed I haven't been exactly completely honest, especially like in the couple last years. I don't know why I've been getting less honest. And definitely I gotta do something about it, you know? So I just want to apologize to anybody that I've let down or disappointed or even hurt because not being honest. And this is just in general, not necessarily related to my YouTube videos. Now with that out of the way, I got a few positive things at least about my channel. So I got a better mic, and that's what I'm using right now. It's a homemade mic. Now, I want to mention also that I have another video coming up. No promises when, but I'm hoping to get it done soon, and it's going to be about reballing a GPU, or really fixing one completely. So if you're interested in that, then definitely stay tuned. Now, other than that, I've been doing a lot of radio-related stuff recently, like with SDRs, but also with amplifiers and antennas. So what I'm trying to say is that there might be more of those type of videos coming up soon too. And I also got recently into programming. Well, 1 year ago, I started like doing programming like more seriously, and maybe I'll be making some videos on, say, some programs that I actually end up writing. Now, other than that, if you enjoyed this video, then please definitely comment and, well, let me know also what I could have done better, or let me know how this video came out, and please also share this video if you can. And one last thing, I also started a Discord server for those interested if you just want to chat or hang out. And that'd be it. Yes, see y'all.